Hello everyone. We have seen binomial tree models in the last lecture, but of course, most of you might have noticed that it's actually very unreasonable to assume that there are only two possible values after a period of say 3 months. Okay. In reality, share prices keep moving every second. So, the number of values is infinite. Hence, binomial tree model just provides a starting point. Ideally, what we do is when I have a time period between 0 to t, instead of fitting a single binomial tree model, what we do is we have multiple movements possible in that period, and as the number of steps goes on increasing, the number of possible values also goes on increasing. So the same time period you may divide into say 30 or 50 steps and then fit those many smaller trees. So for example, if I start here, I have two possible values here, then I have three possible values, then 1 2 3 4 possible values, and so on. Okay, and then when you reach at time t, the number of possible values has increased by a significant amount, and then it provides obviously a much better approximation for the actual prices of option or any other derivative. Okay, so for that we will today start with two-step binomial tree model. How to handle calculations when we have a two-step binomial tree model. Now I have a small question for you. So I just said that okay, this is how you go. So if you start from here, this is first step, then this is second step. We are going to assume that both these steps converge here, means down from here and up from here lead to same value, and the same assumption we will continue. So for example, you have 1 2 3 4 values here at the end of 3 steps. So how many possible values do you have at the end of t steps? Okay, how many distinct values you have at the end of t steps? Okay, that's a homework. Okay, so let me start with a two-step binomial tree model. So how would it look like? So we have this time point 0, and then we will talk about t, but at t by 2 we will have something. Okay, so this is say t by 2. Now let me draw the tree structure. Okay, so the timeline I am dividing into t, this is t by 2. So at 0 we start with asset price is S0, then we have some S0 U here and S0 D here, and this then becomes, this is now again up movement, so it would become S0 U times U, so S0 U square. This is a down movement from S0 U, so it becomes S0 U D, which is same as up movement from here because it would be S0 D into U. Okay, so exactly same quantity, and then we have S0 D square, two down movements. Okay, so at time capital T, possible values are S0 U square, S0 UD and S0 D square. Okay, so how should we proceed? So how should we evaluate the price of the derivative under such a two-step binomial tree model? So what we can do is we can divide this two-step tree into smaller trees. So this portion can be considered as one-step tree. This is another one-step tree, and this is third one-step tree, right? So I have tree 1 here, then I have tree 2 here, and I have tree 3 here. And we know how to handle one-step trees, so we will use that. Okay, so from the theory of one-step trees, what we know is the value of the derivative at initial node of that tree is e raised to minus rt p times fu plus 1 minus p times fd. Correct? So let me try to extend it here. So if I have to compute value of the derivative here, let me denote it by FUU. Okay. So derivative value here is FUU. Then derivative value at this in between point, let it be FUD. Okay. And derivative value at this point, let it be FDD. Okay. Now from tree 1, what would I get? From tree 1, I would get value at this point. Okay. So value at this particular point would be e raised to minus rt by 2, because the time period here is rt by 2, times p of fuu plus 1 minus p fud. Okay, this is value at, let me give some number to this. So this is say point number 1, this is say point number 2, and this is point number 3. Okay, I'm going backwards. One small point to be noted, when I say P, this P involves R, right? What was our formula for P? If you try to recall, correct, formula for P is U minus e raised to RT upon U minus D. So it needs T and it needs R. So we have two assumptions. If we are going to use same P throughout, I have two assumptions. Which assumptions? First of all, R is constant, means the risk-free rate of interest remains constant over the period 0 to capital T. And now capital T, because we are considering a smaller tree, the capital T has to be T by 2. Okay, so my P would be computed by this formula, U minus e raised to RT by 2 upon U minus D, because I am evaluating a smaller tree. Okay, so this is value at time point 1. At time point 2, using the same formula, I would get e raised to minus RT by 2 PFUD, because now FUD is a result of upper movement here, plus 1 minus PFDD. Okay, and now that I have values at these 2 points, I will have to use those values in this third tree to get value at time point 3, which is my final interest. So this becomes, so let me call this as FU and this is FD. So this becomes e raised to minus RT by 2 PFU plus 1 minus PFD. Okay, so what would it be when I substitute values of FU and FD from these two? Okay, so what will be the value at the initial point, the one in which we are interested? It would be e raised to minus RT by 2 and e raised to minus RT by 2, which is taken common from the two values. So e raised to minus RT and then P times FU. So FU is actually now PFUU plus 1 minus PFUD. Okay, e raised to minus RT by 2 has already been taken outside, plus 1 minus P times FD. So FD is actually PFUD plus 1 minus PFDD. Okay, so this is coming from this, and this value at this time point is coming from these two. Okay, so this becomes e raised to minus RT P square FUU plus 2 times 1 minus P into P, because P into 1 minus P from here and P into 1 minus P from here, FUD plus 1 minus P whole square times FDD. Okay, so we know this is simply again the coefficients here, P square 2p into 1 minus p and 1 minus p whole square. They are again coming from binomial expansion. Okay. So I think from here you can try to now generalize for any k-step model. Okay. So that is also a homework. Okay. So what is the homework? Let me write down. Homework is to generalize this for instead of two-step, k-step binomial tree model where k is larger than 2. Of course, you can continue with the same assumption that risk-free rate of interest remains constant and that u and d also remain constant. Okay. And that time period is also even, means 0 to t you are dividing into t by k, etc. Okay, you are not having time intervals with differing lengths. Okay, those assumptions will do. Okay, there is one small catch here. See, when I say that, okay, we evaluated this value using 3 separate trees, we are considering only the values of FUU, FUD and FDD here. So for European options, that is fine. The exercise of an option is going to happen only at the end. Hence, value of the option at the end is what matters. However, for American option, we know that in-between exercise is allowed. So it may be possible that at this time point, the exercise of the option is more beneficial. Okay. So in such case, when I am trying to compute value of the option here, I need to worry about these possibilities also. What happens if you exercise here and what happens if you stay till this point and exercise here. Okay. So for American options, these formula are not going to work. So you need to do something else. So let us see now what can be done for American options. Okay. So the above discussion applies for European option. Either call or put, both. Now for American call and put options, we need to consider the possibility of exercising in between. So how do we do that? Okay. So now let us first focus on call option. Okay. So let me write down the possible share prices here. So we start with initial share price of S0. Then I have S0U, S0U square, S0UD, S0D and S0D square. These are possible share prices. Okay. So I have a call option and the strike price is K. So when is call option exercised? Call option is, recall, call option is right to buy at K, right? So call option would be exercised if the market price is higher. Okay, if the market price is higher than the strike price, then I would prefer to buy at a strike price. Okay. So in between means at this point at T by 2, call option would be exercised if K is less than S0U. Okay. If K is less than S0U. But it is not just that. That is one possibility. K should be less than S0U for call option to be exercised. But still, if you feel that after waiting you are going to get better results, means at this point the profit is more, then you may not want to exercise it now. Okay. So actually the call option would be exercised here if exercising here is more beneficial than waiting till end. Okay. So how much you earn by waiting till end is actually captured by FU, which we introduced earlier. So when you evaluate this tree, whatever value you get for FU, by taking weighted mean of these two quantities and discounting it back, that actually tells you what is the gain by waiting. Okay. So we have to decide whether waiting is more effective. Hence, the American call option will be exercised at T by 2 with say share price S not U. So I am talking about the upper possibility. If the gain here, so what is the gain? Gain is S naught U minus K. So if S naught U minus K is larger than FU. Okay, so waiting is less profitable than exercising now, then only it will be exercised. Is it okay? And that actually becomes the final value of the call option at that time point. So we introduce a new notation FU star as maximum of S naught U minus K comma FU. So we decide which one is more valuable, exercising now or waiting. So if exercising is valuable, then you exercise. If waiting is valuable, you wait. And your final value at this time point is maximum of these two. Okay. Similarly, when we talk about at this time point, we introduce FD star. So FD star is maximum of S naught D minus K comma FD. Okay, so again we consider possibilities waiting and exercising now, and whichever is larger we take that, and then you compute final value at S naught by taking weighted mean of FU star and FD star instead of FU and FD, because they are the actual worths. Okay, FU FD are not the actual worths. They mask the possibility of exercising early. Is it okay? So this is how you have to deal with American options. European options comparatively are straightforward. You can just compute things at the end and take their weighted means and discount them. Okay. So let us take a small example, and in the same example we will try to work out both for say European call option and American call option. Okay. So we start with say S naught equal to 50. It is given to us that U is 1.2, D is 0.8. We are going to go for a two-step binomial tree model. Capital T is say 1 year and strike price is say 40 rupees. Okay. So, and just for the sake of simplifying my calculations, let me assume risk-free rate of interest is 0. It's actually not 0. Every time you'll have to remember discounting back, but here I'm trying to simplify the calculations. So what do we have? 50. Upper value becomes 50 into 1.2. So it becomes 60. And down value becomes 50 into 0.8. So it becomes 40 here. Okay. At the end of half year. Then it further becomes 60 into 1.2. So 72 here. 60 into 0.8 is 48 here. This is 48, and the last, like the lowest possible value becomes 40 into 0.8, so 32. Okay. So when I have an American call option, it would be exercised here because strike price is 40 and market price is 72. So the gain from American option here is 32. Okay, so FUU is actually 32. FUD is 8 and FDD is 0. Same story happens for European options. So for European option, computing the price now is easy. I have to compute P. P is U minus e raised to RT upon U minus D. Okay, so R is 0, so I'll have U minus 1 upon U minus D. Okay, so 1.2 minus 1 upon 1.2 minus 0.8, so it is 0.2 upon 0.4, so it is half. Okay, so P is half. So as per the formula that we derived for European option, the price would be e raised to minus RT P square FUU plus 2P into 1 minus P FUD plus 1 minus P whole square into FDD. Okay, so this is e raised to minus RT becomes 1. So P square, so 1 by 4 into FUU is 32 plus 2 times 1 by 2 into 1 by 2 into FUD is 8 plus 0 because FDD is 0. Okay, so this becomes 8 plus 4, so 12, right? Okay, so the value of the option becomes 12 rupees, value of the European option. What about American option? So for American option, we have to consider the possibility of exercising in between, means exercising here and evaluating its value. So exercising here would give me 20 rupees, right? Okay, because strike price is 40. So exercising here would give me 20. Exercising here is anyway not an option, so this is 0. So let me consider now FU. Let me compute FU. So FU is coming from these two. So 32 into half plus 8 into half. Because R is 0, I am not worried about discounting back. So it is 16 plus 4. So it is exactly 20. So anyway, maximum of 20 comma 20 is 20. And here it would be 8 into half plus 0 into half, so 4. So weighting is more beneficial, so it won't be exercised here. So in this particular case, the value of the American option turns out to be same as the value of the European option. We have done this for call option. Now homework is doing all these things for put option. Okay. All these things means including theory. So first, theory, first develop it for American put option. So we computed FU star and FD star for American call option. So write down formulae for similar values in the case of put option and then solve this problem also for put option, American put option as well as European put option. And while doing this, we have already used single tree partitions. So I think you can now handle usual one-step binomial tree also. Okay. And of course, I have already given you homework for generalizing the European thing for case steps. So let me stop here. Thank you.